gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium here at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Milford TV back here on the road in the city of Worcester as we continue our coverage of Milford boys basketball in the 2018 MIAA playoff tournament. This is Tim Cohen on the call tonight. The Scarlet Hawks in the Division II Central semifinals, getting set to take on a familiar opponent, the top seed in the D2 Central bracket. It is the Marlboro Panthers. This, of course, is a rematch from a playoff contest that we saw take place just a little over 1 year ago in the opening round of the D2 Central playoffs last season. More on that in a moment, but first we focus on the Milford Scarlet Hawks, who continue to play on in tournament competition. They have been on fire of late, now winners of their last 7 consecutive games, riding that wave of momentum through the end of the regular season, and it has now carried over into the playoffs. Milford, after receiving a bye through the opening round of the playoffs, opened their competition at the end of last week in the quarterfinals. Milford, after losing that coin flip at the end of the season to determine playoff seedings, ended up as the 5 seed. They took on the number 4 seeded Medfield Warriors in that quarterfinal matchup, and Milford was able to race out to a 9-0 lead early on in the first quarter in that game, courtesy of some red-hot shooting from beyond the arc. A lot of three-pointers in the first quarter of that game, allowing Milford to build up an early lead, a 9-0 run to start, and they never looked back from there. That ended up being the difference. There were a couple of big offensive heroes in the game against Medfield for the Scarlet Hawks, Andrew Fraioli and Brendan White, teaming up for a combined 38 points on the night, each of them with 19 points apiece. Fraioli cleaning up the boards as well, 15 rebounds. Brendan White, 10 rebounds himself, so both of them with double-doubles on the night. Impressive performances from the senior Fraioli and the junior captain, Brendan White. Caden Kelly provided a solid force on defense in that game, though he did end up in foul trouble late and ended up having to sit a good chunk of the second half. A lot of ticky-tack calls as that game went on that certainly got under the skin of the usually mild-mannered Caden Kelly, but he is set for an intense matchup here tonight, as again Milford was able to defeat Medfield in that quarterfinal matchup. Milford did struggle a bit in the fourth quarter generating points. Medfield, was able to outscore Milford 18-13 in that fourth quarter, but ultimately that big lead Milford staked themselves to in the first half was able to hold up and earn Milford a spot here in the semifinals. And again, it sets up a rematch for the Scarlet Hawks against the Marlboro Panthers, and what a sensational matchup it was between these two teams a year ago, facing off in the opening round of the playoffs. Milford traveling to the Marlboro Fieldhouse to take on this Panthers team. It did not start off in very strong fashion for Milford, as they were behind the 8 ball early. They ended up trailing the game by 12 points heading into the fourth quarter, but that is when the Hawks were able to start to put it together offensively. An outstanding finish to that fourth quarter. They were able to outscore Marlboro 18-5 in the fourth quarter, ended up tying the game up in the final seconds, forcing overtime, and eventually Milford was able to finish off just a miraculous comeback with a 78-73 victory, eliminating Marlboro from the playoffs. Milford would ultimately be eliminated 1 game later, taking on the top seed in the bracket in Neshoba, but it was quite a statement win for this program. And of course, Marlboro, though they do have some different faces on their varsity team than what they had a year ago, one notable face is the same, and that is now the senior captain, Chris Doherty, a junior on this team a year ago. He already has his college plans already etched in stone. The 6'7" center already committed to play basketball at Notre Dame next year. So an impressive athlete here on the Marlboro side. He has been an absolute dominant factor for all 4 years of his varsity career. He was very difficult for Milford to handle at times in that matchup last season. Doherty ended up with 17 points and 16 rebounds in that game before fouling out early in the overtime period, which ended up being a huge difference maker, allowing Milford to finish off that comeback. Last year it was Doherty along with Owen Capadonna that did the bulk of the offensive work for this Panthers team. Capadonna, who was a senior captain on this team last year, has now moved on, graduating last spring. But stepping up in his place and doing a very good job on offense himself has been Kevin Short. So it's Short and Doherty who are the strong offensive forces for Milford to be aware of as this game goes on here tonight. And for Milford, the task will be trying to contain the powerful 6'7" Chris Doherty inside, though Milford better equipped to do that than they even were a season ago. Caden Kelly doing a terrific job going mano-a-mano against Doherty over the course of that matchup last year. Now he has some reinforcements there, of course. Doherty will now have to deal with Andrew Fraioli as well. Also, Joey Everett, no doubt, will contribute to the effort down low. So Milford has the size to combat the force of Chris Doherty in this game. And we will see how they are able to contain a score that during the regular season was really able to have his way through the Midwalk B competition, averaging 19.5 points per game throughout the regular season. Marlboro, of course, the #1 seed in this D2 Central bracket, as we mentioned. They also received a bye through the first round before dispatching Medway High School in their quarterfinal matchup. It ended up being a slow start for Marlboro in that game offensively, but their defense was stellar, and they were able to secure the game in the second half, winning by a final score of 62-44 to earn their spot here in the semifinals. Of course, just 4 teams remain now in this D2 Central bracket. This game here tonight featuring Milford and Marlboro. On the other side of the bracket, it is Shepherd Hill and Westboro, who their game took place earlier today, a 6 o'clock start time to that game. So the game here tonight will determine who moves on to the D2 Central final, facing either Shepherd Hill or Westboro High School. We will get more information on that matchup as this game progresses. And once again, we are so thrilled, in great cooperation with the MIAA, the NFHS Network, and the fine folks here at the Worcester Polytechnic Institute. We are once again happy to be bringing you live streaming coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV, courtesy of milfordtv.net, and also our live stream. Just download the live stream app on your mobile device and search for the Milford TV educational feed, and you're able to watch all of our live sports content as well as all of our other live streaming content here on Milford TV. So here from the WPI gym, getting set to get this game underway as the Milford Scarlet Hawks take on the Marlboro Panthers. It should be a simply outstanding matchup, a trip to the D2 Central Finals on the line. And as these two teams conclude their warm-ups out there on the court, we will step aside very briefly. We will bring you the starting fives for these two teams, and we will have the start of this semifinal matchup when we come back next. So stay tuned to coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics right here on Milford TV. Things already starting to get loud here at WPI as the two starting fives now take the floor. Quickly, we'll bring you those starting fives before the action gets underway for the visiting Milford Scarlet Hawks. It is Shane Cosquette, Brendan White, Andrew Fraioli, Caden Kelly, and Zach Tamaro. And for the Marlboro Panthers, it is Steve DiGregorio, Alex Santos, Kevin Short, Chris Doherty, and Jonah Hintz. It is Kelly and it is Doherty at center court. The ball up for grabs. And the big reach of Doherty, able to deflect the ball to his fellow senior Kevin Short as basketball is underway here in the D2 Central semifinals. Marlboro trying to push the tempo inside here on the opening possession. Bounce pass gets in just barely to Doherty, who now tries the last second pass. He's able to collect the ball back, setting it up outside for Short from 3. Offline on the bucket, and quickly up the floor now in transition is Cosquette. He goes back and forth with Tamaro on the far wing, trying to set up a decent look from outside for Tamaro here. Milford has typically tried to get started from beyond the arc in these final games of the regular season and into the playoffs. Now instead they'll feed down low to Fraioli. The shot does not fall, and Doherty rips down the defensive rebound. Each side going empty on their first possessions up the floor. Here's Doherty now. He's able to burrow his way past Caden Kelly, and they'll count the bucket and the foul. Kelly trying to stand his ground, but Doherty just so strong. So they will call the foul on Andrew Fraioli. Last thing Milford wants to see is either of their big men get into foul trouble early. Doherty does miss the free throw, so it stays a 2-0 lead here early on as Cosquet now will take the ball at a more leisurely pace up the floor. White now getting pestered from outside. Takes a couple of steps inside the arc, drains the two. Tied score early on. Here's Doherty. No problem getting around Fraioli, but he can't finish at the rim. Quick move, and now a deflected pass goes off the hands of Tomorrow and out of play, and Milford will turn it over. The Scarlet Hawks looking a little bit amped up here in these early minutes, trying to settle in. The 5 seed against the 1 seed. Marlboro with just 3 losses in the regular season. They were able to claim the Midwalk B division title. Ended up suffering 2 early losses, as here we see the turnover in the Milford student section. Trying to get enthusiastic here in the early minutes. A couple of losses in the first stretch of the season for Marlboro, but then they rattled off 11 consecutive victories. Now a bad pass here for Milford, and Tomorrow ends up taking a whack at it, and it goes off of Marlboro. So heads-up play there by the senior captain Tomorrow. He was able to deflect that ball off of Alex Santos and out. So possession stays with the Hawks, but Milford right now really struggling with ball security on their side of the floor, trying to tighten things up. The lower level of bleachers is just about filled to capacity on Milford's side. Once again, the student section, the jungle, traveling well. Once again, up in the Worcester area. We were here last week for girls basketball coverage in the opening round of the D2 Central bracket over at Burncoat High School. Now the stage a little bit brighter here at WPI. Tomorrow, the quick release from 3. The early shot falls for Zach Tomorrow, the senior captain, and that gives Milford their first lead of the game at 5-2 with 5:37 to go in the opening quarter. And now Milford with some suffocating defense right up against the end line, and that will send the ball right back into the Scarlet Hawks' favor. Milford looking like they're starting to get more comfortable now. Trying to spread the Marlboro defense out along the perimeter. Cosquet looking for options. Goes back and forth with Tomorrow. Still 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Fraioli now gives away to White. White will use the bank shot off the glass. And an early 4 points now for Brendan. And Milford opens up a 7-2 lead. Coach Seaver active as always on the sideline, making sure his team keeps their composure. On the other side for Marlboro, their head coach Scott Bauman watching on eagerly as Milford has started to see some momentum here. Marlboro trying to answer back from 3, no good, bodies falling, and a foul called against the Panthers, and it looks like that one might have gone against Doherty. Indeed, so now Fraioli and Doherty each with a foul here in the first. Fouls on Doherty were such a huge factor in that matchup last year. As we mentioned, Doherty fouling out in the overtime. Ball squirts loose. Kelly trying to fight for it back. Goes to the ground to try to maintain possession. Call for the jump ball, possession arrow going Milford's way. Now we'll see a substitution on the Marlboro side as we'll see Chris Doherty take an early seat on the bench. See how that changes the dynamic here on the floor. Bounce pass looped into White. And now Fraioli, with a little bit more real estate to work with inside, is able to cut his way to the basket. Milford all of a sudden on a 9-2 run. Coming out in similar offensive fashion to what they were able to do in Medfield last week. And now the rejection for Milford. Fraioli keeps it in play, but unfortunately deflects it right back to number 35, Jonah Hintz, who's able to collect the basket. So the nice play initially, but the deflection going Marlboro's way, and now a chance for a three-point play for Hintz, as this time the foul was called against Kelly. Kelly and Fraioli a foul apiece. Hintz collects the free throw. Cuts it back down to a 4-point Milford advantage. Long outlet pass finds Tomorrow. He gets it back with some room to shoot. Short rims it. Kelly comes in for the rebound. Aiden Kelly gets on the score sheet. It was a struggle offensively for Kelly against Medfield. Two here in the first quarter, pushing Milford into double digits. Now an 11-5 lead with 3:40 to go in the first quarter. Attacking the basket is Kevin Short, and he draws the contact. And that's now a second quick foul on Kelly. We'll see if this activates the Milford bench. Indeed, you can see now Joey Everett heading to the scorer's table, so this will force now Milford's big man to the bench. Short makes the first free throw as now Everett enters the game. Kelly to the bench now with those two fouls. Everett seeing limited minutes in the game against Medfield. Short missing the second free throw. Now the team's getting locked up for the rebound. Everett, along with Angel Strange. Three minutes and 37 seconds to go with possession arrow going Marlboro's way. The Panthers wait to inbound. Deliberate work out of the officiating crew before we continue. Milford with good defense of the inbounds pass. It was Fraioli who was able to get to it first, deflecting it right to Everett and Cosquet. It's another turnover generated by the Scarlet Hawks. Their defense once again has been good. Cosquet up top, now feeds it to White, wide open from three. No good. Everett uses his reach to initially grab the rebound, and the ball deflects out of play off of, I believe it was Strange. The receiver now barks out the play from the sidelines before Cosquet sends the ball back into play. 3:23 to play, 11-6 in favor of the Scarlet Hawks. To make sure they get the communication right from the sidelines. Everett heading over to get the words directly from his head coach, and now we'll see the officials get together again. So the pace of this first quarter has started to drag on. Everything has taken on a very deliberate feel. Cosquet waiting with hands on hips to send this ball back into play. Now they have 17 seconds left on the shot clock. 3:23 left in the first quarter. Finally back in play. That one just barely finding its way back to Cosquet. Now 10 seconds left to shoot. Fraioli up and over a couple of defenders, no good on the shot. Rebound pulled in by Stephen DiGregorio. Short the ball handler, goes back to DiGregorio. Doherty continues to sit on the sidelines for now, as does Caden Kelly. And now they call the foul against the Scarlet Hawks. They'll call a push. The Milford fans none too pleased. Coach Seaver none too pleased. You can even hear Coach Seaver all the way up in our broadcast position at the top of the upper level of bleachers saying that's a huge call. As Doherty now comes back out onto the floor. So they called the foul on Fraioli, which puts now 2 fouls on both of Milford's primary big men. Doherty now checking back into the game. It looks like Fraioli will stay out there with the 2 fouls. Coach Seaver continues to be very hot on the sidelines. And the missed shot from long range. Brendan White collects the loose ball, goes coast to coast, takes a lot of contact as he went up to the rim. No good on the shot, no whistle. Second chance, no good for Milford. And now Cosquet slowing down the progress of Kevin Short up the floor. Back into the hands of Doherty, who returns into the game and cuts baseline. And Doherty now up to 4 points in the quarter. And it's back down to a 1-possession game with 2:16 to go in the first quarter. So Milford going on an early run, but fouls have started to flip the script. Milford using a lot of long passes to try to get their shooters open. Cosquet thought about it from 3. That ball looked like it deflected off of the shoe top of a Marlboro player, goes out of play. With 8 seconds left on the shot clock, Milford will inbound. Zach Tomorrow now heads to the bench. Brendan Saylor checks in for the first time. So Cosquet, Saylor, White, Everett, and Fraioli, the 5 on the floor. 5 seconds left to shoot. White will take the shot from the free throw line and hits back iron. Marlboro now thinking about a deep 3. Short dribbles inside, now leaves it back out for Jordan Oliveira. And Oliveira knocks down the first Marlboro 3 of the night, and that evens the score at 11. So Milford, after taking a 9-2 lead, has given it back. Tied game as Brendan Saylor, nice release, pushes the lead temporarily back into the Hawks' favor. Missed shot, but the rebound by Oliveira keeps the possession alive now from 3, in and out. Shot taken by Michael Velotis. As we mentioned, a lot of different faces on both of these teams. Each of these squads returning 8 players that were part of the playoff game from a season ago. For Marlboro, they returned 2 starters, Doherty and Short. For Milford, the only starter that returned from last year's game is Caden Kelly. As that shot misses, Steve Sutherland into the game. And now the pass to Hot to handle for Angel Strange, and now a turnover on the Marlboro side. I beg your pardon, it was 2 starters returning for Milford as well, of course. Caden Kelly along with Shane Cosquet. Here's White, was able to squeeze his way through a double team and then eventually gets fouled. Milford up by 2. Foul called on Angel Strange. 4 fouls on Milford, 2 on Marlboro, with 37.8 seconds remaining in the first quarter. White ends up with some space, misses from outside, and Marlboro saves the ball from going out of play. Less than a second difference between shot clock and game clock coming down to the end of the opening period. DiGregorio, the ball handler. Cosquet trying to stay with him. Now the long pass, the release from three again for Oliveira, knocks down another three here late in the first quarter, ties the score at 13. 3 seconds left for Milford to get a shot off. Cosquet will drive inside and gets no luck around the rim as time expires. And that three-point shot, I should say, for Jordan Oliveira allows Marlboro to come back to take the lead here in the final seconds of the first quarter. It is now a 14-13 lead for Marlboro. So again, as we mentioned, Milford rattling off a 9-2 run in the early stages of this first quarter, but Marlboro able to turn things around and helped out by the 2 fouls called on both Caden Kelly and Andrew Fraioli. That is a huge storyline to monitor as this half goes along. So 14-13, Marlboro with the 1-point edge. We'll take a very quick timeout and have the start of the second quarter for you next here on Milford TV. Milford returns for the second quarter with the same 5 they concluded the first period of play with. Cosquet, Saylor, and White along with Fraioli and Everett. Caden Kelly remains on the bench with a pair of fouls. Fraioli on the floor with a pair of fouls. Saylor had the look from 3, ends up taking the long 2. So the lead swings back into Milford's favor by a point as we get started here in period number 2. Game so far between the 1-seed Panthers and the 5-seeded Scarlet Hawks. Doherty just fighting through a series of defenders. Doherty now up to 6 points. Cosquet leaves it outside for Saylor. That's a 2. So Saylor with a couple of buckets in this opening minute of the second quarter, up to 6 points now. He came in off the bench late in the first. From the near wing, the shot from Di Gregorio, no good. Jordan Oliveira providing a late spark for the Panthers with a couple of threes. Cosquet ends up delivering it right into the hands of Marlboro. Now White able to jar the ball loose as Alex Santos made his way up the floor. Support here from both fan bases. Only about a 10-minute drive from Marlboro, about a half-hour drive from Milford. Picking that ball up off the floor was Santos. Milford allowing the second chance opportunity, and that flip-flops the lead yet again. It's Marlboro now 18-17, so we've seen a series of lead changes here late. Hot pass into Everett. And a tough time handling it, now gets it back. The hook shot no good, rebound right to Chris Doherty. Marlboro with the lead and the ball, almost losing it a couple of times. Now the feed into the corner, counted from 3. That's Alex Santos with consecutive buckets. Marlboro now opening up a 21-17 lead. Marlboro's largest lead of the game so far. Meanwhile, they called a foul on Marlboro's Kevin Short. 3 fouls now on the Panthers. Fraioli now will get a rest. Caden Kelly back out there as the shot gets rejected out of play by the Hawks. White handing off to Saylor. Now back to White on the far wing. Miss. Everett keeps it going, nearly tipped it in. Now the ball deflects out. Kelly's able to track it down. And the possession continues. Now Kelly. So another turnover for Milford. force a timeout for head coach Paul Seaver and the Scarlet Hawks, stopping the clock with 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the half. It is now the biggest Marlboro lead so far, 21-17 over the Scarlet Hawks. We will take the timeout as well. More semifinal action when we come back next here on Milford TV. Quickly, while we have the opportunity, we want to say congratulations one more time to the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks basketball team. Their playoff run came to an end on Saturday afternoon up at North Middlesex Regional High School, falling to the top seed in their bracket, Groton Dunstable. But another fantastic season for the Lady Hawks and a lot to be proud of, especially for that core of seniors, which has had a sensational 4 years with that Milford girls basketball program, bringing it back to prominence, winning the first playoff game for that program in 17 years. So again, congratulations to the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks on a great year. And the shots keep falling now as we get deeper into this second quarter for the Panthers. Jordan Oliveira now with his third three-pointer of the half, now up to 9 points. All of them have come from long range. Panthers fans loving it. Here's Saylor trying to answer back, but well short on that shot. It's a 7-point Marlboro lead now. Doherty's been relatively quiet in terms of points, but puts a stop to that with his second shot here in the second quarter. And right now, the long-range game for Marlboro starting to open things up more for Doherty. Now Brendan White, again wide open, and White, who was hitting just about every shot he took in that game against Medfield. It's been a different story so far here tonight. Brendan White, with just 4 points so far, is now a lot of contact as the ball went out of play. Marlboro's Jordan Oliveira going down hard right by the corner of the scorer's table. It will be Milford basketball after that scrum on the sideline. We'll see another rest now for Chris Doherty. Kelly trying to defend against Strange. Strange able to get the shot off. Whistle going against Marlboro. All the way up to a 9-point advantage now for the Panthers. Milford needing to respond. They don't want to fall too far behind. Tomorrow sees his shot rim out. And a lot of frustration right now on the Milford sidelines as not much has gone Milford's way here since late in the first quarter. Marlboro with a 26-17 lead with 3:27 to go in the half. Marlboro with possession. The 1 seed starting to take control. Doherty out on the perimeter, a mismatch size-wise against Cosquet. Now the floating shot doesn't fall for Oliveira. Ticking now under 3 minutes to play in the half. Milford trying to get White open from outside, but now the pass deflected, and the Hawks with another turnover. Panthers once again with an opportunity to extend their lead into double digits. Cosquet trying to jar the ball loose. Into the corner for Doherty. Picks up a head of steam, drives inside, and eventually able to tip it in. And just like that, up to 10 points now in the half for Doherty, and an 11-point lead for Marlboro. Fraioli trying to time that jump. Doherty so comfortable, and now lightning quick, able to get back up the floor, gets the shot and the foul. foul going against tomorrow, as Doherty will have a chance for one more at the line, and the complexion of this game has certainly changed since those early minutes of the first quarter. Milford fans loud, the Scarlet Hawks executing well, but Marlboro has suddenly seized command. A 14-point Marlboro advantage with 2:09 left until halftime. Tosquette will let the ball roll out towards midcourt, now picks it up. Marlboro student section now in full throat. Here's White trying to drive inside, can't get the elevation. Fraioli keeps the possession going. Now White, slick pass into Fraioli. No luck around the rim again, and then finally the foul is called. Milford, they just have to keep generating opportunities. They've had some bad luck around the rim throughout the half, but sooner or later, keep getting the good looks, they will fall. Not that time from the free throw line for Fraioli, who's still sitting on just 2 points in the half after scoring 19 against Medfield. These are just Milford's first free throw attempts of the half. .153 to go. Lead shaved down by a point. Kevin Short crosses midcourt. Now hesitates. Delivers an awkward pass to Velotis that trickles through his legs and out of play. Milford once again playing with Caden Kelly on the sidelines. It's been a frustrating playoff run for Kelly so far. White, a slick move to the basket that time to get two. It's his first bucket of the second quarter, 6 points overall in the half. Less than 90 seconds to go now until the break. Another tricky pass, or was that a deflection? It was indeed deflected by the Scarlet Hawks, so Marlboro sends it right back onto the court from directly in front of the scorer's table. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Marlboro delivers it back outside for the three-point attempt. No good for DiGregorio. Milford with the rebound. 57 seconds to go. And the Scarlet Hawks find a little bit of late life. Brendan White releases another three-point attempt. Still searching for a stroke from long range. Milford with just one three-pointer in this half. It came courtesy of Zach Tomorrow early in the first. 37 seconds to go now. Short to DiGregorio, now down low to Doherty. Turns around, releases the shot offline. Rebound deflects to Saylor. Shot clock now turned off. Tomorrow fires it into Fraioli. He cuts inside again, can't find the rim. And now 9 seconds left for Marlboro as White was nearly able to jar the ball free. Now the up and under move, no good for DiGregorio. Back outside for Short at the buzzer. And count it for three for Kevin Short, just sneaking that one in before time expired. Kevin Short, who had just 1 point to that point in the half, one of the top scorers for the Panthers, and he's able to deliver Marlboro into the locker room with a 34-20 lead, so a 14-point advantage for Marlboro at halftime. And so again, Marlboro getting off to a slow start, similar to what they experienced against Medway last week in their quarterfinal matchup, but eventually getting their legs underneath them. They were just able to overpower Milford throughout that second quarter. Milford with just 6 points in total in that second quarter after, 7 points in that second quarter after scoring 13 in the first 8 minutes. So some work for Milford to do in the locker rooms, a lot to digest with the coaching staff. We will pause now for halftime, and we'll be back with third quarter action next. A 34-20 lead for Marlboro over the Milford Scarlet Hawks as we bring you coverage of the D2 Central semifinal here in the MIAA playoff tournament, and it's all right here on Milford TV. Welcome back to Worcester Polytechnic Institute, the site of the Division II Central semifinal between the 5th seeded Scarlet Hawks and the number 1 seeded Marlboro Panthers. It is the top seed with the 34-20 advantage as the ball gets sent back into play, and very quickly we resume action in the third quarter. Marlboro trying to pad an already hefty lead, and they do so immediately. Kevin Short, who sent his team into the locker room with a boost, a 3-point shot that just snuck in ahead of the buzzer. And Milford now, with that lead growing, that deficit I should say, growing to 17. Cosquet with a sorely needed bucket. Shane was held off the score sheet in the first half, but a big three, Milford needing points in a hurry. White pestering defensively, trying to generate the turnover. The ball ends up in the hands of Doherty. He misses. And Milford trying to string some points together, something they have not been able to do since early in the first quarter. Caden Kelly back into the game, can't get to the rim. Milford back to their original starting 5. They have not been able to play with this unit as much as they would have liked so far here tonight. Offline on the shot by Di Gregorio. Foul trouble for both of Milford's big men. The leading scorer at the half was Chris Doherty. He's able to sneak that point total up to 13 before the half, as now Short generates the turnover. Fraioli and Cosquet able to close in defensively, but Short able to get the kiss off the glass. And all of a sudden, Short now has started to open up his offensive game, and that is bad news for Milford. At 16 as Milford gets called for the travel. The Scarlet Hawks, no strangers to a double-digit playoff deficit. Right now in a similar situation to what they faced last year against this Marlboro team. This time Milford able to get the block. Doherty able to get it back, gets a second rebound. Cannot give Doherty that many opportunities underneath the rim. Doherty committing to play at Notre Dame, but was recruited by some heavyweight basketball schools, including Duke, Arizona. And so Xavier giving Doherty a look, so he was recruited quite heavily. Andrew Fraioli, his offensive woes in this game here tonight continue, as they do for Brendan White. Now the break up the floor, and the shot no good. Tomorrow ends up going down hard to the floor. And so they call the foul against Doherty. That's his second. And Coach Seaver right now pleading his case that perhaps there should have been a technical there. That was certainly what the fans were calling for. Coach Seaver continues to be in the ear of the official as the game continues. The ball deflects out of play. So the conversation finally breaks up. Foul of the half as Fraioli sends the pass offline and out of play. We've chronicled it quite a bit in the second half of the regular season and into the playoffs, the difference maker that Andrew Fraioli has been for this team. Milford's able to get the steal. Saylor puts it in. His first points of the second half, but Fraioli has not quite looked the same here tonight. Able to get a nice block there. The ball deflects right to Cosquet. Has just short to beat as he goes to the rack, but Doherty comes in from behind and gets the block. Now the ball loose on the floor. They call for the foul. They'll call the foul on Saylor. Cosquet with some words for the official after the play. Milford right now fighting to keep their composure. White with some good defense. Marlboro able to hang tough. Bounce pass into Doherty, able to spin off of Fraioli. And a chance once again for a three-point play for the senior star Doherty. And meanwhile, Caden Kelly picks up foul number 4. And so for the second straight playoff game, it is frustrations for Kelly, as he will now have to take another lengthy stay on the bench with 4 fouls. Just 2 points on the night for Kelly. Doherty finishes off the three-point play. The lead has now ballooned out to 19 points for the Panthers. A timeout called on the floor. We will take the timeout as well with 4 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in quarter number 3. Starting to get into desperate times for the Scarlet Hawks as they trail Marlboro 44-25 here on Milford TV. The number 2 seed Shepherd Hill was able to defeat the number 6 seed Westboro earlier tonight here on this WPI floor. So Shepherd Hill has punched their ticket to the D2 Central Final, waiting to find out who their opponent will be, either Milford or Marlboro. Right now it is the Panthers with a 19-point lead. As Andrew Fraioli down low, another miss, now gets his shot blocked before the whistle stops the clock. Jordan Oliveira picks up his first foul of the night. Oliveira served as a sharpshooter for this team tonight. More misses for Milford in the paint. Now the Panthers whistle for another quick foul. This one going against Jonah Hintz. Hintz now with 3 fouls. Two good looks from the line. We'll see if maybe that can get him going. Unusual offensive struggles for Andrew Fraioli. Now Milford will put some pressure on in the backcourt. Short able to get away from the 2 defenders. Swinging around to the near wing. A wide open look from 3 for Oliveira. No good. Now here's Milford quickly ahead in transition. Saylor now will pull up. He finds Cosquet, hesitates on the shot. Now feeds it into Brendan White, fighting a losing battle down low against Doherty. 3-point shot from Saylor ends up riming out. Milford outscored in the second quarter 20-7, helping Marlboro build up this lead. 10-7 run for Marlboro so far here in the third. Marlboro turning the basketball over. Clock right now at 3 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the third. Look pass into Fraioli. Milford now works it back outside. Trying to use those quick passes to get something open from outside, but Tomorrow was not ready. Milford's communication has been one of their strong points in this 7-game winning streak. Think back to those tough days where Milford was on the outside looking in at the playoffs. Needed at least 4 wins in their final 6 games to hope to work their way into the playoffs. They ended up running the table, tacking on a playoff victory against Medfield last week to make 7 straight wins. A lot of the things that got them to this point have been failing them so far here tonight, but certainly will be the case when you're going up against an opponent as talented as Marlboro. They're the top seed in this bracket for a reason. A lot of the storylines coming into this game revolving around Doherty, who has certainly been an offensive force, but it's also been the outside shooting for Marlboro that has been a huge weapon. Oliveira with a couple of threes, Alex Santos, Kevin Short, Jonah Hintz all contributing. Try it again from long range. That shot no good by Alex Santos. Joey Everett back onto the floor. Here's Cosquet. He'll release the high arcing 3. It was a little bit short. Doherty scoops up the rebound. Gives Cosquet a little shove after the fact. Now pulling up from the free throw line, getting a couple of bounces. Off the rim, off the backboard, and in for Michael Velotis. That's his first points of the night. Lead back up to 19 for the Panthers as we tick down to 2 minutes to play in the third. Everett's shot from 3-point range is off by a wide margin. Now Doherty, he stuffs it in with authority. Gets the Marlboro fans on their feet as the lead now passes 20 points for the Panthers. Chris Doherty putting on a show. Nice feed underneath from Fraioli to Everett. Joey Everett getting on the score sheet for the first time tonight. 48-29 the score, less than 90 seconds to play in the third quarter. Space for Santos. He passes up the shot that time. Now we'll get it back on the wing. Drives inside, gets around Fraioli. And now they'll swing it back around a wide open look. And count that one for Velotis. So now all of a sudden 5 points in rapid fire succession. That's the kind of luck Marlboro has had tonight. Tries to respond, no good. Now up ahead, sneaking ahead of the defense. And now a lot of contact as Marlboro went up for the shot. Brendan White went down very hard. Able to get back to his feet, but you can see him grimacing. Technical foul called against Lyndon Saylor. Shooting the technical shots, Alex Santos. Marlboro a chance to rest some of their starters here with a 23-point lead. Look at 24 as Santos goes 2 for 2 from the line. Panthers will retain possession. With 50.6 seconds left in the third quarter, things not looking good for the Scarlet Hawks right now. (19-9) differential in this third quarter in favor of the Panthers. Some slick passing outside, but shot misses everything for Oliveira. Sailor now against Oliveira, nearly loses it. Hayden Kelly back into the game with those 4 fouls, and they will count the bucket. Chance for a 3-point play for Kelly. And that will quickly bring Chris Doherty right back out onto the floor after Jonah Hintz picks up his 4th foul. Kelly, who has just not had a chance to get into the flow of this game. This is on the free throw. As Doherty has some space, Fraioli is able to knock the ball loose. They call Doherty for the travel. Shot clock turned off now. White tries to lift that shot over the reach of Doherty. No good, and now here's Marlboro all alone. Transition offense resulting in another shot for Velotis. So all of a sudden, Michael Velotis was able to go on quite a run late in that 3rd quarter, collecting 7 points, helping Marlboro to up the lead all the way now to 55-31. Number 1 seeded Marlboro Panthers absolutely in command. We saw a miraculous 4th quarter comeback for the Scarlet Hawks to beat this Marlboro team a year ago. They will need to dig even deeper if they hope to come back against the Panthers here tonight. We will see the start of the 4th quarter when we return next here on Milford TV. Once again, we welcome you back into WPI here in Worcester, site of both ends of the D2 Central semifinal. Shepherd Hill defeating Westboro earlier tonight. Milford and Marlboro in the nightcap, and Milford taking an early 9-2 lead in this game, but that lead did not last long. Marlboro able to pull ahead at the close of the 1st quarter, and they have just seen that lead continue to increase as the game has gone along. 55-31 lead entering into the 4th quarter. Angel Strange picking up an early foul here in the first 30 seconds of the 4th quarter. Tim Coet here on the call with a stellar Milford TV crew on hand here in the WPI gym. Once again, happy to be on the road bringing you coverage of the MIAA playoff tournament. 2 misses at the line for Andrew Fraioli as a regrettable night continues for Andrew. I'm sure it's starting to creep into the minds of these senior players that they could be looking at their final game in a Milford uniform if they don't start to find a way to make something happen. And meanwhile, we'll see some substitutions here on the Milford side. They bring Matt Nickerson out onto the floor as well as Joey DeMarco. Coach Siebert trying to push some different buttons here to make something happen. Nickerson immediately gets swarmed by a pair of defenders. The Hawks able to keep the possession alive. Kelly gets stripped of the basketball as he went up underneath the rim. Ball stays with Milford with 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Nickerson and DeMarco coming in cold after having sat on the bench all night. Oliveira going up and over DeMarco to try to pluck that ball away. Milford will have a chance to inbound yet again. Officials briefly get together. And so they will now refresh the shot clock. A full 30 seconds back on that shot clock for Milford. Nickerson to Tomorrow. Tomorrow lets the shot go, no good. The foul happening away from the ball. Lotus gets called for the foul, and you can see more conversations between Coach Seaver and the officials. There is no question that head coach Paul Seaver has not been pleased with the way that this game has been officiated tonight. He continues the conversation as the timeout is called on the floor. 6 minutes and 48 seconds are all that remain in this basketball game. It's still a 55-31 score. Time running out on a comeback bid for the Scarlet Hawks. A quick timeout, and we'll be back with more in a moment here on Milford TV. Joey DeMarco at the free throw line with 6 minutes and 48 seconds to go. Milford staring up at a 24-point deficit. DeMarco misses the free throw. Doherty securing it once again for the Panthers. Jim, about the quietest it's been all night long. The Marlboro fans content with the big lead. The Milford fans a bit dejected. Outside for three, all kinds of time for Oliveira. Anderson and Tomorrow go back and forth. Playing with both Brendan White and Brendan Saylor on the bench. Zach Tomorrow, meanwhile, grabs his second three-pointer of the night. His first coming all the way back in the early stages of the first quarter, helping Milford out to that brief early lead. Tomorrow gets rewarded for his efforts with a seat on the bench. Short, looking for a pass down low. Eventually, they find Doherty back out for Oliveira, guarded closely by DeMarco. 13 seconds left on the shot clock, 5:40 to go in the game. Doherty, the turnaround jumper. .22 points now in the game for Chris Doherty, leading the scoring attack. As Kelly found himself all alone under the basket. Took a couple of chances, but finally Kelly buries it. 57-36 the score as we come down to the 5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Scarlet forcing that ball to come loose. Marlboro recovers. Now Oliveira finds Doherty, who is all alone and makes Milford pay. Cannot lose number 33 on the floor at any time. It's the second slam dunk of the night for Doherty. And now the ball ends up back in the hands of Doherty. Dives towards the Marlboro student section to try to save that ball from going out of play. You have to imagine that Chris Doherty had revenge on his mind coming into this matchup here tonight. Watching a big lead slip away in the fourth quarter against Milford a year ago, ended up fouling out in overtime. You saw just the raw emotion for Doherty when he received that final foul. Momentarily stormed off the court, eventually came back to the bench. So watch the remainder of that overtime period. Facing this Milford team again, wanted to see a different outcome, and he has certainly led the way for an impressive effort for the Panthers here tonight. So 4 minutes left to go here in the fourth. Marlboro trying to use the clock to their advantage as well, and eventually sneaking in for a good look underneath the basket is Santos. 9 points in the game for Alex Santos as some of the fans now start to head towards the exit. Scarlet will release a three off the side of the rim. 3.5 minutes left to go with a 61-36 score. Hope for a comeback bid dwindling almost completely for the Scarlet Hawks at this point, as the foul is called to stop the clock with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go. To the line once again is short. Called the foul on Shane Cosquet. So it goes 2 for 2 from the line. And the starters get a rest now for the Panthers, resting up perhaps for an upcoming appearance in the D2 Central Final. They would square off against Shepherd Hill. Here's tomorrow. A couple of fourth quarter threes for tomorrow. Milford has just not been able to get the stops on the other end of the floor. Milford did end up allowing 60 points in the victory against Medfield back last week. Overall on the year, Milford allowing an average of 53.7 points per game. Well over that here with the 63-point total for Marlboro. Up to 64 as Di Gregorio puts in the free throw. That's just his first point of the night. Goes 2 for 2. Marlboro called for a late foul here. Will send Caden Kelly to the line. Milford now to an even 40 points. Milford student section has stayed strong in this game right to the bitter end, continuing to cheer on the 5 on the floor for the Scarlet Hawks. And again, you start to think about some of the seniors who will no longer be in the mix for this team next year. Hintz fights for it underneath the basket. Now it's Strange from his back, is able to get the pass away to Di Gregorio for a shot that is no good. Rebound for Nickerson. Start to look more at some of those seniors over these final minutes. One of those seniors, Joey Everett, a transfer student here into Milford for his senior season. What an impact he had on the football field, bringing his skills to the basketball team this past winter. As you think about the senior captains for this team and all the work that they've done over their 4 years, Caden Kelly, Zach Tomorrow, Joey DeMarco, Shane Cosquet. Cosquet now tossing up the 3, that no good. Ticking down to the final 90 seconds. A lot of seniors on this roster: Everett, DeMarco, Cosquet, Fraioli, Caden Kelly, Matthew Nickerson, Zach Tomorrow, playing in what will be their final game in their high school careers. Fraioli right now at the scorer's table looking to check in one final time, as Shane Cosquet now will head to the bench, gets a hug from his head coach, a hug from the assistant coaches, and now getting pats on the back from his teammates. A difficult feeling for these seniors, and you can see now the emotion for Cosquet, now taking a seat on the bench as Kelly concludes the free throw shots. Minute 38 seconds to go as Caden Kelly now will check out of the game. Race between Kelly and Cosquet, a tough feeling for those two. This free throw on the Marlboro end. Fraioli briefly getting his hands on it. It's now Nickerson who will take it back up the floor. Minute 30 to play as Tomorrow releases from three, no good. The ball deflects out of play, last touched by Everett. What an exciting basketball season it was for both Milford teams. They had an opportunity to be on hand for many a regular season game for both the boys and girls teams. Each team finishing the regular season with 12 wins, giving us exciting opening round playoff matchups. The girls with a victory over at Burncoat High School, just a short distance away from here. The boys with that exciting win against Medfield to close out last week. The girls battling hard against the top seed in their bracket, Broughton Dunstable, getting eliminated on Saturday, and the boys will fall here tonight at WPI, but those losses should not overshadow the tremendous work that we saw on the basketball court this entire season long. And now we see the appreciation from the Milford fans, all of the student section, the fans and community members who came out to see this playoff game here tonight, continuing to show their appreciation for the seniors. All of them now on the bench. Milford now with Pyers, Sutherland, Danny Corsini, Brendan Saylor, Brendan White back into the game. Brendan White, who will be the lone captain to return for the Scarlet Hawks next year, returning for his senior season. We saw such tremendous growth for Brendan White. Ended up being the Scarlet Hawks' leading scorer through the regular season. We expect to see even more out of White when he returns for his senior year. It will be a different looking team yet again, with a lot of impact players graduating coming up this spring. But one thing we have learned over these last 4 years is that this program is capable of sustained growth thanks to the tremendous leadership of head coach Paul Seaver. These two basketball teams in excellent hands with Coach Seaver and also head coach TJ Dolliver over on the girls' side. Just 5 seconds left now in this playoff game. Marlboro dribbles out the final seconds. It was a disappointing finish a year ago for Marlboro, but they are able to exact their revenge as they come here to WPI. There's actually 1 second left still on the clock, so just a final formality to attend to here. As now that will do it. 67-41, Marlboro overwhelms the Milford Scarlet Hawks here tonight. Marlboro moves on to the D2 Central Finals to face off against Shepherd Hill. And the 2017-18 season comes to a disappointing end for the Milford Scarlet Hawks. But again, congratulations to Milford for an outstanding year and an outstanding 4 years for all of the seniors on this team. Again, we want to give you the names one final time. Joey Everett, Joey DeMarco, Shane Cosquet, Andrew Fraioli, Matthew Nickerson, Zach Tomorrow, and Caden Kelly. Outstanding work. A great core of senior players and senior leaders on this team. They will certainly be missed in the years to come here in a Scarlet Hawks uniform. Well, that will wrap up our winter sports coverage for this 2017-2018 season. We once again want to thank the great staff here at Worcester Polytechnic Institute for their hospitality. A thank you to the MIAA for allowing us to be here on the coverage. And also a big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game tonight, our director Rob O'Keefe and our camera operators John Giacomuzzi and Neelan Reisman. And I am Tim Coet. Your final score one final time. Marlboro eliminates Milford from the playoffs. They win this game by a final score of 67-41. We will of course be back with more Milford High School sports coverage in the spring season. Excited to bring that to you in just about a month from now. So we'll look forward to getting back outside. In the meantime, I am Tim Coet. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.